world leaders. Well, let's move on to other news now. And the US-UK cable leak row continues to get worse. United States President Donald Trump has once again hit out at the British ambassador in a series of scathing tweets. Trump has said that the UK ambassador to the US, Kim Darroch, should focus on the Brexit mess. Instead, Trump claimed that Darroch had been critical of him because of his comments on Brexit. The United Kingdom has reiterated full support to the ambassador. Despite Trump's scathing attack on the British government, Darroch will continue to remain on his post. Now, earlier responding to the leaked emails by the UK ambassador, Trump in a series of tweets said that he would no longer work with Kim Darroch. He also criticized Theresa May's handling of Brexit, saying she created the mess. In fact, Trump also welcomed May's impending departure from office and expressed his happiness to in the UK getting a new prime minister. On Monday, the UK Foreign Minister Jeremy Hunt said that he did not share some of the views in the letter. He said that Britain and the US share the warmest of relations. There were also reports that the UK Trade Minister Liam Fox would apologize to Trump's daughter Ivanka during his visit to Washington, D.C., but Fox soon cleared the air, saying he would not issue any apologies during his visit.
I didn't say I was apologising to anyone in particular. I read it in the Times this morning. But I think it's fair that we should be saying to our American counterparts that it's a pity that we've been unable to maintain the integrity of our own system. As for our ambassador in Washington, I think he's a fine public servant who's done a very good job. But clearly he's been let down by the political system itself, whether by accident or, as looks more likely, by design. And that sort of malevolent behaviour cannot be tolerated.
Now, the diplomatic row erupted after the British ambassador's emails were leaked. In the emails, Darroch had described Trump as incompetent, inept and insecure. The memos attacked Trump personally, warning that the 73-year-old's career could end in disgrace. The documents detail Kim Darroch's judgment on the Trump administration as well. And Natalie Pavel is joining us live now from London for the very latest on this. And Natalie, well, what started as a diplomatic embarrassment for the UK has now turned into a diplomatic standoff between these two sides. And how is that panning out given Trump's latest tweets this morning?
Yeah, it certainly seems that diplomatic row spat carries on, of course. We know that Donald Trump has now released a second round of Twitter arguments against Sir Kim, calling him a very stupid guy and actually calling him wacky as well. So it continues to roll on. In terms of what happens next, of course, well, as you've just heard, the International Trade Secretary Liam Fox is in Washington, D.C., really trying to smooth over this and apologise for the leaks themselves. But, of course, we know that the current UK administration under Theresa May has backed Sir Kim, saying that he should remain in that position, although, of course, this has been rather an embarrassing time for the UK-US relations with these leaked emails. Of course, the big headache will really come for the next Prime Minister. We know that Theresa May is going to be replaced in a couple of weeks' time by either Boris Johnson or Jeremy Hunt, and it really will depend on what these men decide to do, because, of course, if they decide to replace Sir Kim, that will look like they are bowing to a host nation's pressure. However, of course, if they keep him in the job, well, the US administration, Trump's administration, could well try to freeze Sir Kim out of important meetings and essentially make his role there defunct, which is obviously going to be a bit tricky for UK-US relations going forward. The third option, of course, is for Sir Kim to step down himself. We know that his position there ends in January 2020 as it stands. He may well decide that given he's not able to get into these meetings, having been thrown out of them by the Trump administration, that perhaps it's no point in him being in that role in the first place, of course. So lots of things, lots of moving parts that could happen in this, but it is likely that this diplomatic row will continue to roll on, and keep watching Twitter for Donald Trump's reaction to it.
Absolutely. Natalie, thanks very much indeed for that. Wacky, stupid and foolish. Those are the latest comments coming in from Donald Trump on his Twitter. account. Well, moving on to other news for now, the cholera crisis in Yemen has hit a new low, and the war-torn country has reported a sharp rise in the number of suspected cholera cases. And according to the United Nations, at least 460,000 cases have been reported so far this year. The total number of deaths have been pegged at 705.
As of today, the outbreak of cholera in Yemen has reached over 460,000 suspected cases this year, including approximately 200,000 children. This exceeds the 380,000 total suspected cases in all of 2018. So far this year, 705 deaths have been recorded from suspected cholera versus 75 deaths in the same period last year.
Now, United Nations said that the recent flash floods have accelerated the spread of cholera in Yemen, adding that the crisis is poor maintenance of water management system, lack of clean drinking water as well.
I believe the World Food Programme is in dialogue with the local authorities to see whether it can get the sort of access that it needs. And as you know, one of their crucial concerns was to have a system of biometric identification so they can be sure that the food that they're delivering goes to the people who need it and is not diverted. And so it's trying to see that those concerns will be met. Until that happens, that suspension continues.